guys, my name is Megan Dorn. I'm a senior.
Liam Garth. I'm a sophomore.
And today we're going to be going through the March Madness bracket and giving insight for who you should pick. So starting in the West, the first matchup is Gonzaga, the 1 seed, and Georgia State, who's a 16 seed. Gonzaga's just kind of rolled through the season. They have Drew Timme, Chet Holmgren. I would not expect an upset here.
Yeah, that seems like it's kind of a no-brainer for Gonzaga.
All right, so the next game is an 8-9 matchup, Boise State and Memphis. This is kind of a toss-up. Boise State just won the Mountain West, and they've been pretty good this year. And then Memphis started out kind of weak, but since Amani Bates left the team, they've been playing really well. Liam, who would you pick?
I went with Memphis.
Yeah, me too. I think that they've been rolling recently. All right, next we have UConn, a 5 seed, and New Mexico State, a 12 seed. And typically, there's usually a few 5-12 upsets each year. This season, UConn has been really good. They're a really tough team, very physical. They did lose to Villanova close in the Big East semifinals. I honestly don't really know anything about New Mexico State.
Yeah, I don't either, but I know UConn finished 3rd in the Big East, and the Big East this year was definitely one of the best leagues in all of college basketball. So
yeah, we're gonna go with UConn.
UConn.
Next up, number 4 Arkansas versus 13 Vermont. This is a very interesting game because Arkansas has really been rolling lately, but Vermont did win their conference tournament, and they play a high-style speed or pace, but Arkansas has J.D. Note, who's one of the best players in the country. And before losing the SEC tournament, Arkansas had won like 10 straight games.
Yeah, I got
an upset?
No, I got Arkansas. Next is Alabama, and then either Rutgers or Notre Dame. And depending on the winner of Rutgers Notre Dame, if it's Rutgers, who they have a solid core.
Yeah, Rutgers has Ron Harper Jr. He's been really clutch this year. He hit that 3-pointer at the end of the Purdue game. Rutgers is really weird. Like, if Rutgers wins the playing game, I think they can beat Alabama. But if Notre Dame wins, I don't think Notre Dame will beat Alabama.
Yeah.
So this game, you can kind of wait to see who wins the playing game and then determine. Alabama's been really weird this year. They beat Gonzaga and Duke, but they've also lost to really bad teams. And the Alabama team is just not consistent. So you don't really know which team's going to show up. So this game, should we take Rutgers if Rutgers wins?
Yeah.
We're going to take the upset here. Next up is Texas Tech, a 3 seed, versus Montana State, 14 seed. I have not watched Montana State play, but I've seen a lot of Texas Tech games, and they're super physical, super tough, and they play great defense. So I really don't see anyone beating them here.
Yeah.
It's also surprising. Texas Tech has a new coach this year, and no one expected them to play this well. All right, next is number 7, Michigan State, and 10, Davidson. Michigan State is coached by Tom Izzo, who's famous for being a great coach in March. But honestly, I don't know here. Davidson's a really good team. They got an at-large bid. They didn't win the A-10, but they lost super close to Richmond.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would go with Davidson.
Yeah.
I'd take an upset here, but Michigan, it's going to be a really close game.
It's going to be a close game because Tom Izzo is a great coach in March.
And Michigan State is always a solid team.
Yeah. Did they beat the Big Ten tournament? I think they beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, it's number 3 seed.
Okay, and the final first-round game in the West is number 2 seed Duke and 15 CSU Fullerton. Duke should not be a 2 seed. They were completely given the seed because of Coach K and his last season, but we won't get into that. Obviously, I think Duke's going to win this game.
Yeah, Duke's going far, I think.
We'll talk about that later. But now we're going to go... Wait, should we do the West at once?
No, just go to the next
now
section.
We're going to go to the first round of the East seed. So the number 1 seed in the East is Baylor, and they're playing Norfolk State. I think this will be an easy one for Baylor.
Yeah, former champions.
Yeah, returning. All right, the next game, the 8-9 matchup, this is a really good game. 8 North Carolina versus 9 Marquette. North Carolina did... So they had that huge win over
Duke at the end.
But besides that, North Carolina barely had any other quad 1 wins.
They were very inconsistent this year.
Inconsistent. But also Marquette is kind of inconsistent too.
Yeah.
Marquette did have an 8-game winning streak during the middle of Big East play, which is extremely tough.
Difficult.
They beat a bunch of really good teams in a row. Honestly, I think Marquette's going to win.
Yeah.
And they have their guard, Justin Lewis. He's a great player. All right. Next is another 5-12 matchup. St. Mary's is the 5 seed out of the West Coast Conference, and they will play the winner of the play-in game of Wyoming and Indiana. This is another one where I want to see who wins the play-in game, because Indiana has been hot recently.
Yep.
They barely lost to Iowa. Trace Jackson-Davis is amazing.
Yep.
But St. Mary's beat Gonzaga, so St. Mary's is pretty good too.
I don't know. I feel like, for me personally, I went with the 12 seed, which I think is going to be Indiana, but
yeah.
you can
This
choose on, I don't know.
You can choose, but if Indiana wins, I think I would have them beating St. Mary's. All right, next, our 4 seed is UCLA, and they're playing number 13 seeded Akron. UCLA they're returning from their run to their Final Four last year. They have some great players, Johnny Juzang, Jaime Jaquez, Tyler Campbell. They have been a little inconsistent this year because they've struggled with injuries. But when they're all playing together, and right now, I think by the tournament, they're all going to be healthy. They're really good.
Yeah.
And Akron isn't that great. Honestly, Kent State was supposed to beat Akron pretty easily in the MAC conference title. But Kent State had issues where their players went on social media and got suspended for the game. So I would definitely pick UCLA. Yeah. And our next matchup is 6 seed Texas versus 11 seed Virginia Tech. I think this will totally be an upset here. Virginia Tech just went on a roll and won the ACC title to get the automatic bid. They are playing great. Meanwhile, Texas, under Chris Beard, his first season at Chris Beard, Texas has not won 4 games in a row since December. They've
Inconsistent.
been majorly inconsistent. I would not trust them to win here. Next up is 3 seed Purdue versus 14 seed Yale. I got to take Purdue. Purdue has a great offense.
Purdue has a great offense, but, I mean, if Yale gets going, Purdue's defense could let them down, but, yeah,
they're not losing to Yale.
I think
they lost last year to, Texas State, and that was a huge disappointment. They're not going to lose in the first round again. And, so our 7-10 matchup in the East is 7 Murray State and 10 San Francisco. These are two
sleeper teams.
Yeah, sleeper teams. I wish they weren't playing each other because I think they're both really good. Murray State has been on fire.
A lot of people have them going deep into the tournament.
But also San Francisco, they're in the West Coast Conference. They played pretty well too, but I'm going to take Murray State.
Yeah.
And our final game in the East is number 2 seed Kentucky versus 15 St. Peter's. I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what team St. Peter's is.
Yeah,
so
I don't even know where that is.
And UK has the best player in the country, Oscar Tshiebwe. He is a beast at rebounding. All right, moving on to the South. Who do you think is the...
We don't need to get into it. It's fine. It's debatable.
Okay. In the South, our first game is the number 1 seed is Arizona, and they are going to be playing the winner of Wright State or Bryant. And I will say, Bryant was blowing teams out. They have one player, I forget his name, but he is leading the country in scoring.
Oh, in scoring, yes. He had...
Peter Kiss.
Yeah,
That's
Peter
his name,
Kiss.
Peter Kiss. But even if Bryant wins, Arizona is a great team. They barely lost, and they have some huge guys who dominate the paint. So we're going to go with Arizona.
I think they average some of the most points in all of college basketball too, for total points.
The 8-9 matchup in the South is Seton Hall and TCU. Seton Hall has been pretty good this year. They've been a little inconsistent. TCU had a huge win over Kansas a few weeks ago. And this is the first time TCU has made the tournament in over 20 years. I really think this game's a toss-up. You can go either way. Liam, who would you take?
Big East is a tough conference. I don't know, and Seton Hall didn't do that bad this year, so
yeah,
gotta
we'll
go
with
with
Seton
that.
Hall. So our next matchup in the South is 5-seed Houston versus 12-seed UAB. I think this could definitely be an upset alert. Houston lost their 2 leading scorers earlier this season for season-ending injuries, and although that didn't show up too much during AAC conference play, the AAC was horrible this year, and you can start to see, like, Houston doesn't even have a quad 1 win because they haven't had to play anyone hard, and when they did, they lost to Memphis. So I would definitely be careful about Houston.
I went with the upset here.
Yeah, we're going with another 5-12 upset.
They're coming in strong, and Houston's not looking too great, so that kind of makes sense.
All right, next is 4-seed Illinois versus 12 Chattanooga. Illinois has also been consistent, but they've dealt with some injuries.
Yeah.
But Kofi Coburn's a great player, same with Andre Curbelo. I would expect Illinois to win this game. All right, next up is 6-seed Colorado State versus 11-seed Michigan.
A lot of people have Michigan winning over Colorado State, but based on Michigan bouncing out of the Big Ten tournament so fast,
Yeah, I don't even think
know.
Michigan should not have even been the field. If they were going to play, they should have been in a playing game. Colorado State's been good this whole year.
Yeah,
I think we should beat Colorado State. I don't
see Michigan beating them.
All right, next is our 3-seed Tennessee versus 14 Longwood. Tennessee just won the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
Their freshman, Kennedy Chandler, he's one of the best freshmen in the country. I would totally pick him to win here.
I have Tennessee going deep.
Yeah. And our 7-10 matchup is Ohio State and Loyola Chicago. This will be a fun game because Ohio State down the stretch has fallen off. And Loyola Chicago, everyone remembers their Final Four run from a few years ago, how fun they've been in the tournament. Loyola Chicago, they also fell off a little bit during the stretch, but then they came back together and won the MVC tournament to get the automatic bid. I don't know who I'd pick here.
Ohio State also bounced out of the Big Ten tournament early.
They have E.J. Liddell, though, who's one of the best players in the country.
I don't know. I went with an upset here because Big Ten schools never do well.
Yeah, I'll go with Loyola Chicago. Sister Jean on their side.
Yeah.
They have some magic. Okay, and our final game in the South is 2-seed Villanova and 15-seed Delaware.
No question. Villanova.
Nova is on a roll.
Colin Gillespie
is so good.
One of the most underrated players past 3 years.
They just won the Big East tournament. They're tough. And this is a huge thing people don't factor in for tournament games. Villanova has the highest free throw shooting percentage in the country. And they're on pace to have the highest free throw percentage in NCAA history. And when games come down to the end, free throws are huge.
Matter.
So definitely Villanova. Our final region is the Midwest. Our number 1 seed in the Midwest is Kansas. And they will be playing the winner of Texas Southern or Texas A&M. Definitely take the Jayhawks here.
Yeah. I don't even know.
They just won the Big 12
Southern.
tournament, too.
Yeah.
All right, next, 8-9 game, San Diego State and Creighton. I have not watched much San Diego State basketball.
Yeah.
I've seen Creighton has really gotten hot lately. They barely lost in the Big East Finals. And even their star freshman, Ryan Nemhart, he got hurt and he's out. But even without him, they've been fine. They've been playing. I think I'm going to take
Creighton's always a solid team. Always given.
Yeah, Greg McDermott's a good coach.
Yeah.
All right, this next matchup, the 5-12, another great game. Iowa's the 5 seed, Richmond's the 12 seed. Richmond just won, I want to say 5 games in a row to get that automatic bid. They were down by 15 to Dayton and Davidson and came back from a 15-point deficit to win both games. So even if Iowa gets up early, you cannot count Richmond out. However, Iowa they're really good.
Really good three-point shooting team.
Yeah,
when they get hot, I mean, it's knockdown. They're coming off a big win.
Yeah, they won the Big Ten tournament, and they have Keegan Murray, who's one of the best players in the country.
Yeah.
And his twin brother, who's also very good.
Yeah.
So, do you think an upset's going to happen here?
I think Iowa's, especially coming off the Big Ten win.
Yeah,
I don't see them losing.
All right, next, our 4 seed is Providence, and they are playing South Dakota State. This is going to be an interesting game because Providence has been such a fun team this season. They won the Big East regular season, and they've been, quote-unquote, the luckiest team in college basketball because they've won so many close games at the end. But South Dakota State, they have the highest three-point percentage in the country, and they score a ton of points. And they've only lost 4 games this whole season. So Providence should be on upset alert here. But Providence is so lucky with close games.
Yeah.
They have a magic to them. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think they're going to lose.
Another
They
Big
did
East
get
team.
blown out by Creighton in the Big East tournament, but that was kind of a one-off, I think. I think they'll be back for the March Madness. All right, our 6-11 game, 6-seed LSU, 11-seed Iowa State.
I have an upset here.
Okay, this game is very hard to pick.
It's going to be very close, but
Because LSU just fired their coach last week. Because
Yeah.
LSU has had a bunch of recruiting violations, cheating stuff. And they've known about them, but they kept well weighed. But they just got a new notice of allegations. Apparently, the LSU basketball program is going to be, after this, shut down for a while because they had major cheating. So they don't have a coach right now. The program's kind of in shambles.
yeah.
So
I
that
don't-
leaves a spot for Iowa State to come in.
I don't see. I mean, their players have tons of stuff on their minds
Yeah.
with the coaching staff and school, and Iowa State.
But Iowa State, if they don't get rolling, they barely score.
Yeah.
They scored 31 points in a game 2 weeks ago. So I really don't know where to go with this.
I went with the upset here. It's March.
Yeah, I don't trust Iowa State. LSU.
It's March. Anything can
And it's
happen.
crazy. Iowa State won 3 games last season. And this season they're in the tournament. Went from 3 wins to 20. All right, next is 3-seed Wisconsin and 14-seed Colgate. Wisconsin also has one of the best players, Johnny Davis. He's a great, but there's some big concern because I think the game before the Big East, when they played Nebraska and right before the Big Ten tournament, Johnny Davis got hurt and he didn't play much in the Big Ten tournament when Wisconsin lost. So if he's not available, Wisconsin could be in danger. But this game's going to be in Milwaukee, so I think there'll be a huge home crowd, and I don't think Colgate will win this game. All right. The 7-10 matchup is USC and Miami.
I was pretty lost with this one. I'm
Me
going to be
too.
honest. I feel like either way.
I kind of have a feeling Miami's going to win just because Miami has beat Duke twice this season.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think either team, it's kind of really a toss-up. It'll be a good game.
Yeah.
And our last game in the first round is the 2-seed Auburn and 15-seed Jacksonville
Auburn.
State. Definitely Auburn. I do have some concerns about them for moving on later, but that'll be our other games. All right, now going into the second round, we're going to go back up to the West, and we're going to be going through with the winners we've picked. So our matchup right now is Gonzaga versus Memphis.
Zags.
You got to take Gonzaga.
They're too strong. They've got good young core, good experienced core in the tournament. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Memphis has a weird mix of young and old, and they've had team chemistry issues the whole season, so I wouldn't trust them. All right, next up we have UConn and Arkansas.
Oh, this one.
This has been hard.
Yeah, I don't know because UConn, again, finished third in possibly or arguably the best conference in college basketball, but also Arkansas
did go on a run where they won, I think, 10 straight games, and the
Yeah.
SEC was really tough this year. So
Yeah, I feel like Arkansas
they
is
do have JD Notae's really good.
Yes, I feel like they can
Okay, we'll
pull it
take
off.
Arkansas. Our next game is Rutgers and Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, their
Yeah, I
defense
really
is
like
too
Texas Tech.
strong. They work hard.
They're just a very physical, scrappy team.
Yeah.
And our last second matchup in the West would be Davidson and Duke. I think you got to take Duke here.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, next we have Baylor and Marquette. Baylor, I do think, is in danger of being sent home early, but I don't think Marquette's. I don't know.
I don't think Marquette's
can do
that
it.
team
Yeah.
to knock them off.
But we would put Baylor on possible upset alert here. All right, next we have IU and UCLA. Now this is a classic blue blood.
Yeah.
Think back, John Wooden, Bob Knight.
Bob Knight.
This is going.
Yeah.
I think you have to take UCLA.
Yeah, I think UCLA, they just got more options for scoring the
Yeah.
basketball. IU, they do have one of the best players in the country,
Definitely.
but
But also, this could be totally wrong
Yes.
if IU loses in the first
because, yeah.
part. All right, next we have Virginia Tech and Purdue.
I just,
I mean, I don't
Purdue,
Purdue's in danger in this tournament
Yeah,
because they can't play defense.
They can't play defense. They have lost some games that some big games this year. I don't know.
I don't know if Virginia Tech's the team to knock them
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't watched enough Virginia Tech basketball.
I feel like Purdue can maybe get through this round, but I feel like after that it's going to be tough sledding.
Finally, it's going to be Murray State and UK. And John Calipari has already come out and said he hopes they don't play Murray State because he thinks Murray State's a really tough team.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm still going with UK.
I think I'll go with UK because they have, like, Washington and Sheboygan. And really the only times, as long as they don't have injuries, they're a really hard
They've
team.
got multiple NBA draft
Okay,
prospects.
in the South, we have Arizona and Seton Hall. Arizona here for sure. They're too good.
Yeah, Arizona's good.
Next, we have UAB and Illinois. I think you got to take Illinois. Illinois, they have some good weapons.
Yeah, Illinois, that's good.
Next up, we have Colorado State and Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Tennessee plays really tough defense. And then Loyola Chicago and Villanova.
Nova
for sure.
all day.
And in the Midwest, we have Kansas and Creighton. I want to say, I think they played last year. I think they played in the tournament last year. But I would have to go with Kansas.
Yeah.
If Creighton starts hitting their threes, they could give them a scare. I don't think they're going to be that hot, though.
Yeah.
And then we have, this is the game. I'm really upset, actually, that Iowa and Providence are going to have to play in the second round because I love watching both these teams play. I really don't know which way to go here.
If Iowa gets hot, it's over.
I know.
But
also, you can't count out Providence because Providence is another team that's gotten down big and then they've come back.
I don't know.
I think we have to go with Iowa. They're more reliable.
Yeah, and Iowa's coming off a big win.
And
they got a lot of
Murray.
confidence. Yeah, they're rolling.
All right, we have Iowa State and Wisconsin. This is just hard because I'd have to see how Johnny Davis plays in the first game for Wisconsin. But I don't trust Iowa State to win another game.
Yeah, I'm going with Wisconsin.
Yeah. And then finally we have Miami and Auburn. Definitely Auburn. Auburn has a freshman, Kennedy Chandler. No, that's a different.
No, what's his name?
Auburn has a really good freshman. They have some Wendell Green.
Wendell Green
Green's
Jr.
really good.
Okay.
All right, moving on. So now we're back to the Sweet 16, which will be the second weekend. And out in the West, we have Gonzaga playing Arkansas. I think this will be the first test that Gonzaga really faces. I just don't think they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Gonzaga, they seem destined for yet another Final Four.
Yeah, I know.
And then we have Texas Tech and Duke. I have the upset here for Texas Tech.
Yeah, Texas Tech.
They are tough. When Duke gets behind, Duke just expects to win every game. So when they face a real battle and they start to get behind, it's like they don't know what to do.
Yeah,
they just look around and
but again, we also haven't seen this young Duke team play yet in March. So
well, we saw them in the ACC tournament.
That's true.
And they got down to Virginia Tech and they didn't know what to do.
But
they look lost.
I don't know. I'll go with Texas Tech just because of hard work, defense, rebounding. It's what wins games.
I would love to see Coach K get knocked out early.
I don't really understand that, but it's okay. We've got different views, I guess.
All right, next we have Baylor and UCLA.
I'm gonna go with UCLA.
These are two Final Four teams from last year.
UCLA.
Me too. Baylor, they've had some injuries, and I know they only have 6 losses, but it just seems like they haven't been that great this year.
I don't know. There's not a lot of buzz coming.
Yeah, I just don't trust them.
Yeah.
And then we have Purdue and Kentucky. I think Kentucky here.
Yeah. Kentucky
Purdue can't play
Kentucky
defense.
will expose Purdue.
Oh, and Oscar Tshiebwe can just rebound, and Purdue won't be able to defend that.
Yeah.
So
they do have the 7'4".
Zach Edey?
Yeah, Zach Edey.
Yeah, sometimes Zach Edey just looks lost out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Kentucky's good.
Next up, Arizona and Illinois. They actually played each other earlier this season, and it went into 2 overtimes, and Arizona barely squeaked out of Champaign with a win. It was a really good game. But I just like Arizona so much. I
Yeah,
don't.
Arizona's got it.
And then we have Tennessee and Villanova. This would definitely, if they play, would be a low-scoring game. Very
Both
defensive.
teams are very good at defense.
But Colin Gillespie, this is actually his last
leadership.
season for real. He's such a leader, and I don't think he's having Villanova lose in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. They always do well in March.
Yeah. And then we have Kansas and Iowa. If Iowa gets to this point, I think they're going to upset Kansas.
I don't know, though, because, Kansas, they've been so dominant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like Kansas is hot, too, because they won the Big 12 tournament.
For me, I'm going with Kansas, but.
All right. Just let it be known, in my personal bracket, I have Iowa. But we'll go with Kansas here. And finally, we have Wisconsin and Auburn.
Auburn.
I think you got to go with Auburn.
Injuries for.
But be careful with Auburn because lately they've had some games, like they lost to Texas A&M in the SEC tournament, and during the end of the regular season in the SEC, they almost lost to Missouri, they lost to Florida. There were some games where they don't come to play sometimes. But also they can be awesome.
Yeah, I
don't think they can beat Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't think they're beating Wisconsin at all.
All right, now we're down to our Elite Eight. We have Gonzaga and Texas Tech. This is a rematch of the national championship game a few years ago. Or no, the Final Four.
Final
Not
Four.
the national championship game. I think Gonzaga.
Yeah, I think Gonzaga. They're just too good.
And then we have UCLA and UK, another two old blue bloods.
I don't know.
I feel like UK.
Yeah, I feel like this is where UCLA gets bounced out.
Yeah. Mick Cronin gets out of the tournament.
Yeah.
And then we have Arizona and Villanova. I don't know.
This game is going to be very close. Because if Nova can hit their threes, which they've been...
They do. They have... Every time you think you might have them,
yeah.
Colin Gillespie goes down, hits a dagger.
Yeah.
And they just get right back in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Personally, I'm going with Arizona, but I don't know
Me
because
too.
Nova strong, but I'm going to go with Arizona.
I think Arizona's really good. And then our final Elite Eight game is Kansas and Auburn. I don't know here.
Kansas?
I think Kansas has been more consistent than Auburn. I just don't know if you can trust Auburn. I don't know if you can trust Auburn to win. What would it be, 5 games in a row?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are down to our final four, which is number 1 seed Gonzaga, number 2 seed Kentucky, number 1 seed Arizona, and number 1 seed Kansas. Which I am a little surprised. We ended up with 3 number 1 seeds.
Yeah.
Which
doesn't happen.
Statistics would tell us that's not going to actually happen. And the season has been such a crazy season. But I don't know. That's who we have. Our first semifinal game, we have Gonzaga and UK.
Zags.
Yeah, taking the Zags. And then we have Arizona and Kansas. I think you got to take Arizona.
Yeah.
It's going to be a West Coast finals. In our final, Gonzaga, Arizona. Here's the storyline. This would be an amazing storyline if these two teams played. Gonzaga is coached by Mark Few. Mark Few's loyal assistant, Tommy Lloyd, was his assistant for 20 years at Gonzaga. They're great friends. Tommy Lloyd was waiting. He was kind of expecting to take over the Gonzaga job eventually. However, I think he realized Mark Few isn't retiring anytime soon, so he takes the Arizona job this summer. Arizona, which was kind of a mess after Sean Miller, he got in trouble there for some wiretapping. Now, Tommy Lloyd's at Arizona and could have them in the national championship game, playing his former boss, Tommy Lloyd.
Yeah. This game is what a lot of people have in their final. I
feel like this is the year Gonzaga finally breaks through and wins their first national championship.
Yeah. I think their team is just too solid, too well-rounded.
They get revenge for last year.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's our bracket. We have Gonzaga winning it all. Thanks for listening. Good luck in your bracket.